Hey guys, it's Cam with Hope2K9 and today is Fix It Friday day. I'm just trying to get us situated here so that when Kai is able to join me, we can dive in to a meaty conversation today about temperament testing. This would be part 2 for where we started discussing how to select a puppy that's right for you. What's the date today? The 9th, November 9th. So November 2nd-ish. Fix It Friday, literally the very last Fix It Friday that I did, I shared about how to determine, the right puppy for you. We talked about how many people should not get a puppy at all. And that episode was really popular, and there's so much to cover. When I had a viewer, happened to also be one of our community members and somebody who's worked with us in the rescue capacity before, ask me, I'm ready for puppy, how do I know which one is right for me? And I basically had said, that is such a loaded question because most of you should not get a puppy. And here were all the reasons why. So I just wanted to encourage you, if you're watching for the first time, go back and find that episode. I just talked to my team today to make sure that one gets on our YouTube channel. Hey, good to see you guys popping on in. Thanks so much. And today I think is going to be no exception. We're trying to bring you as much empowerment as possible about making this decision incredibly consciously. And when it comes to selecting the puppy that's right for you, whether you adopt a dog or you select a really reputable breeder, whatever it is that you do, the temperament test conversation is a big factor here in making sure that of a litter of puppies or of a bunch of puppies in different shelters and rescues that you could choose from, knowing the breed is one thing. Making sure that you're prepared financially and understand the amount of work and training and development that's going to be involved in raising an adult dog, not keeping your puppy stagnant in its development. But the temperament test helps you to select even further down the dog that's going to match your lifestyle, your personality, your interests much better. And it really is a key ingredient to whether or not you have the time for that dog. Because as we'll talk about, different personalities, different temperaments are going to be more or less demanding for mental stimulation, fulfillment of drive, all kinds of different things. And this is not even something that, full disclaimer, like disclosure, whatever the word is, we aren't experts in this, okay? This is not something that we are the, end all be all source that you should be taking for this ultimately, if you're somebody who's like particularly advancing in your career in the dog industry and you really want to get an amazing dog for IPO sports, don't take this and stop here with your decision making and your education. You need more. We are just going to share what we know, what we've found to be really valuable in helping other clients and adopters, and from the place of literally our own puppies, right? So Finn is over here on place, Laszlo's over here on place. In fact, I know you guys would rather see them than us anyway, so here you go. Here's Finn over here being a very mature good boy. Whoopsies. It won't let me scroll. It won't let me zoom. I don't know why, but there we go. And then there's Laszlo. 9.5 weeks. It was like 14 months-ish, right? Okay, so flip you back around to our not puppy mugs. And when I brought Laz home a week and a half ago, right before Alexis, everybody loves Laz. When I brought him home a week ago, the reason I brought him home was extremely connected to how he did on this temperament test. And the one that we're going to talk about utilizing is the Bullhard Puppy Aptitude Test. And this is something I had heard about years ago, but had actually fallen off my radar until Finn came into the picture. So when Kai found Finn at the beginning of the year, end of last year?
Literally last November.
Last November.
Same time.
She did the same test. Within the 30 minutes of him arriving to the house, he was temperament tested, and he tested so differently.
We actually got back late the night before.
Oh, there we go.
No one had
Created him. Nobody interacted with him. So the test requires that you use somebody the dog's never met before, and that's a really important ingredient. So with Laszlo, going out to meet the breeder, everything I shared with you guys last week was relevant to my experience. It was, checking on that breeder, having references that supported that breeder, looking at their quality of their dogs. The health testing has been done on these dogs. The dogs are shown and worked. There are many dogs from her line that are out in the community that are doing sporting work and all kinds of different things. Barn hunt. They're not just show dogs. IPO. So there was all these factors, right, that went into the conversation of selecting a reputable breeder and feeling good about supporting that and then sourcing my dog from that lineage. But I had said 100%, I stood by this. If this dog doesn't test out with 4s and 5s, it's a no-go. If he doesn't test out on the aptitude test, it's a no-go. He has to be this type of dog, right? Because I have this type of lifestyle and I want this type of relationship. So this is what's so awesome about committing to properly assessing your puppy, and then you're empowered to know when you test that dog out certain things that are going to have to be a part of your lifestyle and relationship with them. So did you happen to grab your, or do you just know it?
I know it.
You just know it. Okay. Because I think it would be really cool to start with Finn actually and talk about, you know, how he tested versus what we have now today. Because we've kind of mentioned this a lot, but have never gotten into the nitty gritty of what that looked like.
So you want to go through each one?
Yeah, maybe let's just talk about what the categories are. And then you can kind of discuss it in relationship to how he tested.
Well, this is kind of fun. So the description of sort of your dog's average, so like mostly 1s, is described as a strong desire to be a pack leader, not shy about bucking for promotion, has a predisposition to be aggressive to people and other dogs, will bite, should only be placed in a very experienced home. I think Finn got like a 1. Also, mostly 2s, has leadership aspirations, hard to manage, capacity to bite, lots of self-confidence, should not be placed in an inexperienced home, too unruly to be good with children, people, or other elderly people or other animals. 3s can be a high-energy dog, may need exercise, good with people and other animals, can be a bit of a handful, needs training but learns quickly, great for a second-time dog owner. 4s, the kind of dog that makes the perfect pet, best choice for the first-time owner, will rarely buck for promotion, easy to train, rather quiet, it literally says, choose this pup, take it to obedience classes, you'll be the star without having to do much work. 5s, fearful, shy, needs special handling, will run away at the slightest stress in its life, strange people, strange places, different floor, ground surfaces may upset it, often afraid of loud noises, terrified of thunderstorms, when you greet it upon your return, may submissively urinate, needs a very special home where the environment doesn't change too much, where there are no children, best for a quiet elderly couple, if cornered and cannot get away, has a tendency to bite. That was Finn.
That's
6s,
how he tested out.
so independent that he doesn't need you or other people, doesn't care if he's trained or not, he's his own person, unlikely to bond with you, since he doesn't need you, great guard dog for gas stations. That's what it says.
That's probably...
Do not take this puppy and think you can change him into a lovable bundle. You can't, so leave well enough alone. Also Finn.
That's probably also like, you know, Jeff's Kangal.
Yeah.
Right? Jeff Gelman has this Turkish Kangal.
Most huskies probably test with a lot of 6s, but Finn got mostly 5s. There's what, 10?
Yeah, so to connect the dots for you guys, you are, the first couple pages, just so that if you're gonna look it up, there we go, Volhard Puppy Aptitude Test, okay? And you're gonna start out with information on how to test. It's like creating a sterile environment essentially in terms of the dog's never met the tester, the dog's never been in that room or space before. So you're creating a neutral territory in each instance to see how the dog handles where they're not familiar. Stress them out, right? You're stressing them out. What do they do when they're under stress or pressure, etc. Then you go through these categories of social interaction that tells you what task to perform, following, restraint, social dominance, elevation dominance, retrieving, touch sensitivity, sound sensitivity, and sight sensitivity, and then stability. And these things are gonna be like, what happens when you throw a crumpled up piece of paper? Does the dog go to it, avoid it, get it, bring it back to you? Like, you know, what does the dog do when you flirt a rag?
Run away from you?
Yeah, if you call them, you're so excited, blah, 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 blah. Do they come to you? My dog's head just goes up. Do they come to you? Did they want to engage with you? Did they bite? Did they lick? There's very specific designations of what do they do. So each time you take the test, you have a corresponding category. Social interaction, for example, has options, right? 1 through 6 options of what did the dog do. The example of social interaction is it came readily with its tail up, jumped, and bit at the hands. Came readily, tail up, pawed, licked at the hands. Came readily, tail was up, readily with the tail down, hesitantly came over with the tail down, or didn't come at all. So you see you get 6 options for each of these interactions and activities and test components, and then you're selecting the corresponding number that goes with the dog's response. So in this instance for social interaction, my dog both came readily with the tail up and the tail slightly, with the tail up, and then in one instance he pawed and he gave some licks, some sort of a combination of 2 and 3. So these numbers are what are getting you the dog's description that Kai just went through. A majority of 2s or a majority of 3s, a majority of 5s, a majority of 6s is what puts that dog in that descriptive category. Mostly 1s, mostly 2s, etc. So for Laszlo it was 5 3s, 4 4s. So remember I had said the dog's got to be in this 4s and 5s category, or I think it was,
you said 3.
yeah, 5 times 3. So he got 3 5s, 4 4s. This was my priority. He must get in the 4s and 5s range. And if you remember that description, it was, you don't really have to work on this dog, right? It was, this dog is like a good dog. You don't really have to try. You look like a champ without doing a whole lot. Or the dog might exhibit some behavior of, you know, fear, shy, special handling, or can be higher energy.
He got a few 3s.
He did get a few 3s.
Yeah,
so that was the higher energy, good with people, can be a bit of a handful. He is. We'll tell you in a minute where the handful's coming from. So just to complete that description of where she came up with, and then you were saying that Finn was the last 2
Yeah, so
categories.
He was the fearful, shy, needs special handling, scared of everything, literally don't think you can take this dog and change him into a lovable bundle because you can't, which is not true because anyone that's met him knows that that's what he is.
Yeah.
He literally, like, plop him on the ground. Cam was the person.
I was
stranger.
the interactor.
Plop him on the ground. Morning, she goes to call him. He freaking ran under the chair. Like, we had to pull him out.
I was like, oh my God, you got the wrong dog.
She was like, what did you do? Yeah, wouldn't follow her, so it was like, did not come at all, ran away. He totally struggled on the restraint. So the restraint and the social dominance is all about kind of putting the puppy on its back, either up in your hands or on the ground, and just seeing. So you're not putting a ton of pressure, but you're seeing how much they struggle and fight that. Totally failed all of that. Didn't care about the flirt pull
Object,
the
yeah,
ball,
no chasing or anything
the paper,
like that.
anything like that, which he's like all about it now. Yeah, he just really failed. He ran away from the umbrella, like absolutely ran away.
Yeah. Didn't like freak
Just-
out and then have curiosity.
No, he
That
was
particular one was looked and walked away, looked and walked to it, smelling it cautiously, looked and went to investigate, sat, looked, didn't move toward, showed little or no interest, or ran away. So you have the 6 options that the puppy falls in the category of, and then you select your number accordingly. For Laszlo, it was looked and went to investigate. And we actually used a tripod. We didn't have an umbrella, so we popped a big, tripod open and kind of created that same experience.
Open it like 5 feet from the dog, just set it on the ground and see what they did.
Yeah. So what's cool is, you were just saying that's obviously not true, that you can't change the dog. There's sort of a caveat because you're a professional.
Totally.
So this is the key.
And I had already committed.
She'd already committed. It wasn't a, do I want this one? No, I don't want that one. I'll move on. I already have this puppy. This puppy's joining the pack. What is he about? What is his result?
I got him to help other dogs, and that it's not an option for you to stay like that. It's literally like it's not an option. So
yeah, I want our clients to benefit from really catching that statement. She decided he's staying. This is not acceptable. What do I do to fix it? Period. That is the key ingredient we are constantly finding ourselves discussing with people over the phone, during in-person evaluations. It's like, yes, you might have a project in front of you. Yes, you might have some major heavy lifting to do, but all you got to do is start by deciding that you're going to figure it out. Deciding that this is not acceptable to you and you're going to do whatever it takes to move the needle in the direction that you need. So you decided, this is the dog I have, that's not going to work for us. And then there's some really important steps that you took on how to deal with it.
Yeah, I just started pulling out all the scary stuff and throwing him at it. Like, literally, no, go, here you go. Vacuum, boxes, bubble wrap, brooms, anything that moved weird or made weird noises. I don't even remember. Like, new people,
Bubble wrap,
he still will kind of bark, but now it's almost just like, that's my job.
Yeah, it's interesting. You still see these things surface a little bit, but if you meeting him today, you'd never know he tested the way that he did, or that at the core, he's an insecure dog.
I had to up on stuff, like up, down. Like, he probably knew up before he knew place. He loves to jump. Now he'll just go jump on the table, and it's like, no, that's not what we're going for.
Flying onto and through and around.
He can
everything.
jump up on these stools. They're like a good 3 foot high. Yeah, what else did I do? I took him, I mean, literally after that test, we went to Home Depot on a slip lead. That's literally what we did after that test. Was we went to Home Depot, I handed him off to, I literally handed off to this worker that then left, and I was like, why? You can't just take my puppy out of sight.
Who was wanting to show everyone else.
She went and showed all her other coworkers, and so I followed, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But there was a moment of like, wait, what?
They do weird things at Home Depot. We don't go there anymore.
We don't. But I have a picture. It's literally the next day. So rolling carts. There was those forklift things with the people. I mean, just anything you can think of. That's what we did. I gave him to Heather. He lived with someone else for a week in the first month that I had him.
Yeah, that's a key thing that a lot of people will not
Allie took him a little bit after that too.
You know, you want the cute time, right? Because look at how cute this time is. Look at it. It's stupid. You know, like you want to have all the fun, right? When your baby is babying. But the reality is, if you test your dog out and you realize, holy crap, this dog is fearful and insecure and in the category of not going to be great with people, might bite, is stressed and uncomfortable, then it is so much more important that you remember you're raising a dog. You are not raising a puppy, you're raising a dog. And if you get selfish about enjoying that, yummy, small baby goodness and don't do the work now, you miss a crucial window. The key factors here are: know the dog you're walking into before you select it, so you can select it to make sure that you can fulfill it, and then get to work fulfilling on raising that dog's weaknesses as much as possible and capitalizing on their strengths. And it cannot be a factor of, but it's so cute, I want it around, I'll miss it, I love it so much. It cannot, and I get it. Like, we all get it, we love our dogs. But we want to live the 15 years that are ahead with the dog, enjoying that, not the 6 to 12 months. They're tiny Finn's a smaller dog, but my boxer's not going to be that size for more than 4 months. It's going to be over. So it's a very tiny window that you're selfishly holding on to that does not represent what your long game will be like. And if you don't have the discernment to be objective during this time and see the weaknesses and the gaps, when you get it on paper like this, it's a lot easier. It's more motivating, I think. When you get it in front of you and you don't have the discernment to prioritize balancing that stuff out, you're consciously making a decision, now that you've heard me say this, to spend the rest of your dog's life having to spend more money, more energy, and struggle more unnecessarily. So Finn today is a totally different dog.
I sent him out with my parents too. They took him to my sister's volleyball game.
That was a holiday event, right? Too.
Yeah, they were down here. They snuck him into the stadium, echoing like insane college volleyball, and then they snuck him into a restaurant. Literally, brought his crate in with them and hid it under the table. I don't even know. I didn't even ask them what they were doing. Like, that's another thing when you do that. A lot of people are going to say, "How's Finn? How's he doing?" And I was just like, just don't kill him, please.
Yeah, don't let him die.
And I didn't get any updates till they got back. Yeah. And this is all in his album, by the way. So there's a bunch of posts. It's like, I literally have one that's like, give away your puppy.
Chronicles of Finn.
Yep.
So if you're watching this at any point in time and you've got a puppy now, or someone's sharing with you to try to help you out and give you some resources, go back and look at the photo album on the Hope2K9 page, or at that point we might be called a Hope2K9 Foundation because we're doing a little bit of a merger. But go to the photo album for the Chronicles of Finn, right? Puppy Raising 101. That's a really good one.
It's videos also.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he was doing all this stuff before he was fully vaccinated. I remember dropping him off at Heather's, and I got him out of the car, and he was like, and it was like, just leash. I had a little micro prong all the way to her door. I don't want to. Then he promptly peed on her entry rug, and then I left. And she updated me a couple times, but he was there for like 5 days. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, I don't want a puppy.
She has 2 adult pitties, female dogs, and so the very conscious decision, right, to get him out to have unbalanced experiences, not protect his world so much, and keep him in a cocoon because there's this over-emotionalizing that my puppy is fearful. It was the complete opposite. It was, my puppy's fearful, he needs to feel the fear and do it anyway. He needs to have experiences of stress and recovery. And we've talked about this, like she said, through a lot of video content while he was coming up. We're doing the same thing over here with Laszlo, but it's a very different dog testing out, very different personality testing out, and the key thing that he's throwing is separation anxiety. Absolutely to the max, so fast with that puppy because he's highly, highly social, loves and gets attached to people, especially me, immediately. And the biggest challenge for a new puppy owner who has that going on is seeing the danger up ahead and not just going, it's so nice, he just loves me so much, we're so connected, we've been so tight since day one.
He hates the crate.
He hates the crate. It's so stressful for him. So I'll talk to you about, some of those categories for him and where the problems down the line show up, and also how you can see the drivey factors, right? And how Kai built drive, I think, is really important.
To answer Desiree, there's actually a great article that I don't remember the name of right now, but it's written by one of the high-up vets and the mainstream vet people about how under-socialization is killing way more dogs than the vaccination, the parvo or whatever. So I give them that. And I also have a whole video where I talk about that while you get to look at cute pictures of Finn. On the same albums. Okay, cool. So definitely make sure you share that if you know somebody who's got puppies, because that is a really important piece of this. And I caught it when you said it, and I'm glad Des did too, but I hadn't come back to it yet. The one thing that I had asked our breeder about with Laszlo was his exposure to adult dogs, because she has a pack. And it's so funny because that misnomer on the vaccines issue and the dog's risk of immunity when they're baby is a huge, impetus for a failure to socialize and expose the dog to things that will set them on the right track. Yeah, we should definitely give them that link. She needs the article. Yeah. So when I did ask about that, she was saying, well, not a ton, but some, you have to be really careful because they're still really new. And I went, AV Sab. Puppy socialization statement. I mean, I'll link this, but it literally says your dog needs to be socialized more than it needs to be.
Now, there's a smart way to do it. You don't take the puppy to a dog park, public place where there's lots of poop and disease potential from dogs that you don't know are healthy and taken care of. You don't put your puppy in, down at the lake where the ducks and crap are all, making a mess and everything. But you absolutely can get together with everybody who has an adult dog that you can say, is your dog, healthy and up to date, or they titer test, they know their dog is not sick. Then get your puppy together with as many adult dogs as you possibly can to experience understanding manners and communication and developing into the adult dog that you want. So this article that she just linked, thank you for doing that, is something that you guys can grab onto as a resource to share and a way to help folks, especially if you're in the industry, because I'm not taking my puppy, who I'm doing a very conservative vaccine protocol with to begin with. I'm spreading everything out. He didn't get his first shot until 9 weeks of age. And he already has had some irping issues from it. Immediately after he got that shot, he started puking up his food. It's just incredible. And Finn had a huge battle with that this last year after getting vaccinated. So stretching those vaccines out and actually extending how long you take to get your dog set up with their required vaccines, and then, you know, really taking the time to build their immune system and balance that, compensate for that, would tell you that you have to wait even longer before you expose them, and it's just not true. One of the reasons that we have the programs that we have here, Hope for Hounds, you know, our socialization, honestly, these are great resources where we know we have healthy dogs, we know we have a healthy property, we know that we can give these dogs experiences that will benefit them immensely without having to limit based on that fear of parvo and other diseases. It's absolutely something you've got to be careful about, but you just have to be smart. Don't be stupid and put your puppy in situations where there's a high traffic, you know, area for unknown dogs defecating and, you know, potentially creating disease from other animals. Go to your friends' houses, invite your friends and their dogs over. Let dogs that are a little grumpier be around your puppy if possible, so your puppy can learn to be polite and not be tolerated and allowed to be obnoxious.
Yeah, the other thing to know, especially if you don't have access to a vet that's gonna sort of support a longer protocol and stuff, is that parvo is absolutely the #1 issue, and a lot of vets don't do that first.
Yeah,
or they do it
true.
as like a 3-in-1 DHL-PP, and it's just absolutely not necessary. Your dog does not need a leptospirosis vaccine unless you're going to be ratting with it when it's 8 weeks old, which you're probably not. They can totally wait on that one. So you can totally advocate for your dog. You know, I want just parvo at 8 or 9 weeks, and we're going to spread out the rest, the rabies, the lepto, the bordetella, anything else, distemper.
I don't do bordetella at all. I don't do lepto at all.
Distemper, that's all. Yes, it's a risk, of course, if your dog got bit by something that was rabid, but way more controllable in your environment. So that would be the first one that I would be getting if I had a dog that had no vaccines.
The lepto vaccine was tough for me when I worked at the vet, and she insisted on making every puppy get it.
Yeah.
Nah.
Finn had a DHL-PP before I got him.
Yeah, I don't do it unless it's a dog like my friend Anne-Marie, who's a barn hunt judge and a Glen of them all breeder. Her dogs are absolute ratters. They're out every day. She lives on acreage. Every day they're flushing the field and killing stuff and getting it. And I'm not even sure that she does it. But, you know, if you have that kind of lifestyle and your dog is actively hunting and engaged in sport and activities to fulfill that aspect of what they're born and bred to do, then you have to take different precautions. Or in certain environments, urban, you know, environments, whatever, where there's more disease potentially in the wildlife, then you have to make different decisions based on that. And then you can, this is what's so crucial, you guys, take precautions to compensate for that. If you have to stress your dog's immune system, then spend the rest of the year or the 2 to 3 in between vaccines building their immunity up as much as possible. Dr. Jean Dodd said in our interview earlier in the year, the goal should be to build your dog's immune system up so much throughout the year or years that they can sustain being poisoned every 3 years with vaccines.
That's
because
the mandatory rabies,
that's the mandatory rabies that most people are still hung up on and saying to us, well, what do we do? My dog's 12 and I can't get him registered. Hey, I won't ever lie to you. I'm not vaccinating my 12-year-old dog. I'm not registering my 12-year-old dog because I would like him to live as long as possible. And a rabies vaccine, when the immune system is declining anyway due to old age, and the body is stressed due to low energy from old age, is an invitation for the dog to decline faster. And I won't do it. Dog doesn't need it. A titer test will show you he has enough in his system. He is fully covered. So it's a really, really tricky area where we need to stand up for our pets. We need to stand up and actually speak up and not accept the status quo and just inject the dog.
There is also, in the law, your dog has to be healthy enough. So if you do the research and you find the vet, it might take multiple tries, but like Luca, some vets might
totally
call him healthy enough now, but a good vet would not.
No, he just had a cancerous tumor removed from his foot. So if you've got stuff going on with your dog, argue it. Stand up and fight the battle. Don't just accept, you know, that this needs to be put into the puppy or the adult dog simply because there's a stupid protocol in place that was formulated for all the wrong reasons, just like everything else. It is about, you know, the way those vaccine protocols were set up was because they didn't know. They don't know when is the puppy's immunity declining. Let's just hit them consistently. throughout this sequence of time to make sure we don't miss our window. That's a really lame way to approach one-size-fits-all poisoning. And we have had a lot of dogs come into our training program, 6, 12, 9 months later, or 2, 3 years later, with classic behavioral outcomes due to a very taxed immune system. The dog's gut is ravaged, they're not calm, they're stressed, they're uncomfortable, and it started way back when we hit them with vaccines. Maybe we neutered them at the same time, and their immune system has never come back from it because of this lack of understanding. So when we talk about temperament testing, guys, all this stuff, or talk about puppy selection, all of this is related. And I hope you can understand why I had to break it up into multiple parts to answer it, and how it can't even get into it all in the course of a Q&A conversation, or trying to type this in an answer. When Becca asked me about it, was like, no, I have way too much to say about that, and there's no way I could encapsulate it all into a written answer on Facebook. So you get your temperament test done, you know what you're dealing with, you can make a conscious decision. This is my lifestyle. That descriptor that Kai read in the very beginning, you can make this conscious decision. This is my lifestyle. I am a mostly 6s kind of person, or I am a mostly 5s kind of person. My lifestyle has not very much time in it to put into the dog, or it has a ton of time into it, or I have a very structured, quiet life. I'm a retired person, nothing really happens here. I don't have a bunch of relatives coming and visiting, or I have a busy family household. People are in and out all the time. There's lots of chaos. If you remember what she was reading in those descriptors, you'll realize you can select the puppy based on the assessment that most drops into your lifestyle naturally and doesn't require you to have this collision of where our life is this way and the puppy is the complete opposite and we're not meshing. And that is unfortunately what most people do. They go with the latter, not the former, and they're winging it based on it's so cute, or I didn't want to leave it at the shelter, or my brother or my sister had this type of dog and I really, really want one, or I grew up with these dogs, I know the breed, it doesn't matter, I can just handle any one of them. I tell you what, I've had boxers now for almost 17 years and every single one of them has been very different. They've all had very similar characteristics for boxers, but they've also been very, very unique and individual, each and every one of them. So you make your decision about, what you can see in the dog as the innate characteristics of that dog, their matchup for your lifestyle, your energy, and your knowledge and skills. And then you start paying attention to how can I support that body from the inside out to maintain as much of that natural, beautiful, inherent quality in the dog and balance out where the dog has those shadows, right? Where the weak spots are. Things like, what Finn is experiencing in his development is hugely related to the fact that she was a professional and she can go, well, this is a big issue. We got to tackle that now. Take my dog, send my dog away.
It also wasn't hard for me
blow
to
up
find
life.
a pack of 8 adult dogs.
Put him in with a bunch of adult dogs because that's naturally what I have here. I'm training dogs all day. I can expose him to the same stuff I'm working other dogs around.
Is half the reason.
Sparty's huge and intimidating and has no clue where he's putting his feet at any given time.
Massively confident, punches everyone the
great
same as
influence.
Finn does, loves other dogs, not
true.
afraid of things.
Great influence. So if someone else had gotten him and had, say, Cody, who's here in training, anxious, insecure, kind of neurotic, lots of separation anxiety, fearful, reactive. If Cody was the influence of Finn, and Finn didn't get the early intervention, you'd have a totally messed up dog.
Luna's fearful.
Yeah,
nervous,
true.
Still scared of
your
rape.
other dog. Mm-hmm.
Barks at everything.
Super selective about people. Yeah. Takes a while to warm up. Yeah, be a very different Finn. And so what we're dealing with right now, I was going to kind of follow this up with the second example of Laz is 9.5 weeks old. As I told you, he got 5s and 4s mostly. He got 1, 2. Where was that 2? That 2 was under, I guess, the social interaction response. No, it was this one, sight sensitivity. This is what's so funny. Because you were telling me that day, sight sensitivity really is like drive.
Yeah.
Right?
It's basically you make a tiny puppy flirt pole.
So it says the puppy is placed in the center of the testing area. The tester ties a string around a bath towel and jerks it across the floor 2 feet from the puppy, right? Flirt, flirt. And in that category, these are your options. Looked, attacked, and bit. Looked and put foot on and mouth on. Looked with curiosity and attempted to investigate with the tail up. Looked with curiosity with the tail down, or ran away and hid behind the tester, or hid behind the tester. So my dog got a 2. Looked, put feet on it, and put mouth on it. This guy loves to tug. Here we are 1 week later. Oh man, he lives for that. So what's really cool is I can know that's an access point for my dog for, fulfillment. I can know that my dog is actually gonna need to have an outlet for that, right? I can't just squash my dog in that area and expect there to be no consequence to that. I need to find ways to allow him to express himself in that department and have fulfillment to drain his energy. Because remember, he got some scores where he's a little bit higher energy. He's gonna need activities to fulfill him. Tug, bite work, getting him on the sleeve, the stuff that's newer to me to play around with and explore with my dogs is perfect for where this puppy's going, right? So you can see how you can start to build a vision for, what the dog is gonna be like. Some of his other responses were, following. He follows people readily with his tail up. He's got a lot of pack drive. He's very people-oriented. In restraint, he struggled, then settled. So you start to see a little of the willfulness come out, a little bit of the, I don't wanna have to. He's very willful, very, very willful dog now that I've had him for a week and seen him in action. Social dominance, cuddled up to the tester and tried to lick face. He takes correction if it's very firm.
That's basically stroking the dog.
Yeah.
And what do they do?
He takes correction decently, but you have to be extremely firm and clear. Otherwise, he's really into the connection. He's very addicted. That's the separation anxiety stuff shows up there as well. You touch him and he's like, yes, do it again. Give me another hit. So then we put him in a crate and he flips out, and the willful nature and the addictedness to being together shows up, and you get freaking drama llama. You can't believe what can come out of this puppy. Can't believe it.
Multiple noises at once.
Multiple noises at once. So I'm just trying to give you guys an idea here of, where your breeder sets the stage for helping to balance these things out. If they're doing restraint, right? Elevated restraint, holding the puppy up in the air, does the puppy tolerate that? If they're flipping the dog over and holding them down on their back and just gently supporting them and understanding how to surrender and allow that social dominance. If they're starting to encourage, drive, and build confidence by exposing the puppy to a bajillion different surfaces, sights, and sounds before they're even 7 weeks of age, then you will get very different outcomes of those temperaments expressing themselves in a balanced way. But if your puppy is coming from a puppy mill where they're unexposed to people, they're in a cage all the time, just crammed with no experiences of the outside world, then your dog is likely to be one of the dogs that comes to us for an expensive board and train the 6 months later or 12 months later, when you can't get that dog to stop attacking bicycles or barking and growling at people that come to your home, submissively urinating.
Archer.
What else do we see? Yeah, Archer. Archer didn't get what he needed from the start and then bounced around with a lack of stability going through the rescue system, and he is legitimately a human, probably human aggressive dog, human reactive dog. Here, he does phenomenally well because it's a controlled environment. It's like that exact scenario that you literally read in the beginning.
The 5s.
Yeah, runs away at sight of stress. Strange people, strange places, different floor and ground surfaces may upset. Afraid of loud noises, doesn't change much. Needs a very special home where the environment doesn't change much and there's no children. Best for quiet elderly couple. If cornered and cannot get away, has a tendency to bite. 100%, he's a bite dog. He bites. He's bite risk. That's why he's not adopted out. He's staying. Because the dog pack has helped him so much. He's very bonded and connected to the dog pack, and he's become much more sociable. To where we can use him and fulfill him here. He's very drivey. He loves to tug and work with Kai. He's super, super into that now. He's a really fun dog to watch work because he celebrates his wins really well and he re-engages with you. But all those things are true of him, period, the end. I just literally took him and had him outside of a restaurant underneath the table, parked on a place command the other day. and he lunged out of nowhere, barking and going towards somebody that he didn't know, and I didn't even see it building under there. And after that, every single thing around him was a potential threat. He was just absolutely on overload, and that's what we've seen. So I'm really hoping this will help you guys. You know, I'm trying to think if there's anything we missed in terms of, you know, balancing the issues that you see that are present when you do test out the puppy, and really understanding how much work isn't going to be involved. You know, my little dude is super freaking, we're lucky, the pair of us, because of how we live and that we have resources and that we have community to help out, because he was awful. I didn't get any sleep the first 3 nights. The 4th one was like, Cam's gonna lose her marbles if we don't deal with this, and Kai actually took him and had him with her so I could take some Tylenol PMs and like crash out. We had to get through some really bad few days because he was so committed to his cause. He could not be corrected out of his tantruming from the crate. And we're talking like, we were not kind about it, you know? We're earthquaking the crate, we're bonking the crate, we're using the air can, which I think in the end was probably the best thing when you reminded me we owned that. It's like, I'm so tired, I can't think straight. Air can helped out. He's still doing it, guys. It's gonna probably be an issue on some level here because of the fact that it's not 100% you go fix your shit and then be my dog. There's like just aspects of his addiction and connection and his desire to be with people and engaged in the action. And he's super, super willful. Am I planning on utilizing tools on him after 6 months? Oh, I'll do it, you know, probably before 6 months, yeah. Because he'll be big enough to where it's not a structural issue. In short order, you know, I could put a prong on him now, but he walks beautifully on a slip lead because he wants to be next to you.
The prong would be for removing him from you?
Yes, the prong would be for removing him from me. The prong is not necessary for walking him with me. He's quite lovely. I would like to do some drivey stuff with him for sure. I would like to and potentially get into barn hunt with him as well. You know, he's kind of just showing that he's got a few different options probably that will come together. But let's be realistic. I got a dog with the score levels that I did because I don't have a lot of time, right? So he needs to fit in with the lifestyle. That 4s and 5s range was intentional because, or 3s and 4s, because he's going to be, you know, a very social guy with a lot of dogs, helping the way Bosley did. Bosley was really, really valuable for reading dogs. And he was so dog-oriented, he didn't really care about people. This one is the opposite. He is so people-oriented, doesn't really care about dogs. And part of what we're dealing with right now intentionally is he goes out and socializes and I stay away. I don't go out in the yard, and Kai drags him out there with the pack until he forgets that he's a mama's boy already, and he just gets involved in socializing with the pack. And he's building more confidence and bonding. He really likes Finn. He's bonding with more buddies as of late. It's just gonna take effort. It's gonna take intentional effort. And I have to stay out of that mix to get the best result. He literally will do better if I'm not around because he's all about me. So it's really, really cool to be able to have those resources and to have opportunities at an early stage based on testing out and being conscientious, you know, to develop the dog that you really want and have the best chance at giving the dogs you know, as much fulfillment as possible and not fighting. It's like, why get in a relationship with somebody that they drive you crazy? You're not on the same wavelength. You're not meshing. It's not what we want. Same thing is true with dogs. So many people get a dog who's completely not right for them purely because it was the wrong time of their life. They couldn't say no. They have shit boundaries. You know, they needed something to fill a gap and they jumped into a relationship because it was cute or they felt sorry for it. It's the wrong way to enter any relationship, let alone a dog. Because the dog isn't going to sit down and go to counseling with you and talk through how that was really unfair, but let's make the best of it now. They're not going to do that, like a person might. The only other thing, and I don't know what time it is, but that we were thinking might be kind of cool for you guys was to show you some tug stuff. Do you want to see tug stuff? Would that be interesting, or should we do that another time? Because we can probably take 10, 15 and show you what we're talking about when we talk about drive expression and doing some tug work. Z would probably love to see that. I was just talking about, she has our little Aussie Roddy boy. That's our Aussie. Oh, that's our Aussie cool. Peeps. So Z, welcome. I was just talking about showing you guys tug. You guys want to see that? Okay. Let's take Finn out, and we'll start with him. The puppy will probably wake up. Desi's stuck inside with bad air quality because of the fires, right? Sorry, that's really a bummer. Yeah, Archer's a lot of fun too, so maybe we'll bring Archer out. Penny says, please. Okay, ask and you shall receive. We will do some tug work, and probably the little boo-boo here can be shown as well, so you can get a sense of just how awesome it is to dive in when they're bitty and what it can do for you. I was just talking to Elias about this last night. Elias was up hanging out with us last night, had dinner, and what he's doing in his training programs with his own dogs and some other dogs that he's been working with lately to incorporate play, and how valuable that's been to condition obedience and stuff. The Cam and Kai show, woo! Has been really, really cool, and I 100% agree. That's what you can get with So this is the guy we were telling you, test it out, is super fearful. She can literally smack him to the ground and he'll come back for more. He's absolutely hardy AF now, you guys. It's hysterical. This is the dog that, tested out as forget it, don't even try. He's going to be fearful. He might be a bite risk. He's, super insecure, etc., etc. And not so because of the work that she did immediately to start building his confidence, conditioning him to, be hardy and tolerant and to engage with her. And now he's obsessed. He has the same dynamic with Kai. He's like a bullet, yes, as Laszlo does with me. He is, she is his favorite because she's the source of all the good stuff. So Finn's super into tug. He's got the Boston Terrier limitation, so like you try to do a pillow for him, his mouth just can't grip it, which is going to be why, a flirt solution works better. We have a couple different things that Kai's collected over the course of the last 6 months or so. Flirt poles where you've got the stick with the little tether attached to it, or the...
It's just if he sees that,
he won't do anything else. Yeah, leather rag, like you'll see, a flirt stick with a little piece of leather or, canvas on the end of it, and you can use that to start getting a dog engaged. But the key ingredients here, and we show our live stream of our tug class, our drive outlet class, in our community page for our clients. It'll be part of the Dog Nerd Cult content when you guys sign up to be a part of that month to month. It's only $25, recurring donation to the rescue, and you get access to that. But the key here is she's flirting. She's giving him several misses. Watch how she'll be like, get it? No, you can't. Get it? No, you can't. Get it? No, you can't. And then she'll let him have it. Boom. You want a good bite. And then you want to teach the dog to re-grip. So she'll pause and she'll kind of help him readjust his bite so that the toy is in the back of the mouth. And then when he, sorry, I'm trying to get you guys back out. Then when he pulls and he actively says, give it to me, she releases and she lets him win it. So flirt, flirt, flirt. You can't have it, you can't have it. You're building frustration. Boom, nice bite because the dog's frustrated and feeling drivey. Now I see if I can hone in for you again. She's releasing into his pulling. He's re-gripping from time to time. She's releasing the toy when he's pulling, so he wins. One of the biggest mistakes, you guys, that dog owners make is they don't ever let their dog win. It's a big mistake. If you played a game you never won, do you think you'd keep playing it? It's like, think about those friends and relatives that you do a card game with, Let's play Settlers of Catan, and then they're like uber competitive and they win every game, and you're like, I don't want to play with you anymore, you suck. So the same thing is true with tug. A key ingredient, you gotta let the dog win. You gotta let the dog win. Okay, so here's another example.
Do you want it?
Zoom. This would be a flirt pole. It's got a leather piece of material on it. She revs him up, flirt, flirt, flirt. You miss, you miss, you miss. You're building drive and frustration. Another way that you see this done is the dog is in a harness and then they're back tied. They're restricted because they're on the back tie. So you'll see a lot of working dogs that they're trying to build that intensity. They're trying to build the dog to launch at the sleeve or whatever the toy is.
This toy is great for more fearful dogs, so you don't have to get in their face as much. Right? You can tug from right But if your dog's nervous or not sure about tug, one of these is great so that you can engage from back here.
You guys, Jeremy Majors came out and did a weekend seminar for us here, and he was a great help to us in advancing our comfort level with how to bring tug into our training programs and for some of our adopters and our training clients. So I strongly want to credit Jeremy and encourage you guys to get over to his page. Make sure you follow Majors Academy. He's got a lot more experience in doing this kind of work at an advanced level with dogs, working dogs. And so I really respect what he brought to our knowledge base here and our comfort level. It's not rocket science, you guys, but it's so funny how easy it is to play wrong, to play incorrectly with your dog.
So big thing for pet owners is like you're trying to clean up a bite or you're trying to work on out or something, like you don't need to talk to your dog. They're not verbal.
Yeah.
It's a big thing we get in drive class, like I'm doing this and I'm saying, you know, bite it better or whatever. It's like your dog doesn't care.
You guys catch
Just
that?
reward the good bites and take the toy away when it's bad.
Yeah. So she's saying you don't need to be adding a bunch of nonsense here. Kitty, 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 good, 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 go, go, go. Like all this crazy.
Come on, Daddy, bite it better, Fig. Good, bite it better.
She's saying you don't need to be doing that, okay? Just let your dog be a dog and pay attention to the energy, the intention, the attitude. Pay attention to your interaction with the dog in terms of your timing of releasing the toy. Stephanie's got a good question. If they do the head shake a lot, that's okay?
It's not ideal.
There's some caveats to that,
It
Stephanie.
depends on the rest of the body language.
Yeah.
So it's basically kill drive, but it could be from conflict, could be from over arousal, or it could just be that your dog has more kill drive. So, I would say
You're gonna have to stop him.
If your dog is just absolutely committed, like right now a bomb could freaking explode. You wouldn't even know. The only thing that stops him is when he starts to overheat. Huh, buddy? If your dog is super committed, ears back, eyes on you, and they're shaking, that's okay. What I would do is never let them win till you get a second or two of still. So that's going to slowly deteriorate the behavior. I've not done that with him. You totally saw him shake it. He doesn't do it that much. But if that was a big problem, or if you have a bigger dog and they can just take it from you.
Good job, buddy.
Then
this is really important too, guys. 10 minutes, not even 5 minutes, and you can wear your dog out so much better with an activity like this. So yeah, I mean, there's some caveats. Stephanie is basically what she's saying. A lot of cases, it's not that big of a deal. But if the dog is taking, if you release the, I would say if you release the item, you let them have it, right? Because she's pulling on you, she's resisting, you let her have it, you let her win. If she takes it to the ground and goes crazy with the kill drive, that's a thing you need to interrupt. You want that celebrate, prance, and then re-engage. Yeah, I was gonna say, there was a couple people who were commenting about, I love the, celebration. I know I love the driver. Yeah, Stephanie, you should totally get down here for that next class. So we moved them to Sunday. We moved them to Sundays, so you should definitely get in here for that. And then we can see Mabel and what she does. What if two dogs playing are both randomly shaking? Like you're letting toys be a part of two dogs interacting and they're shaking, killing toys. Shakes her head, but if she does it, I have to let go because she's so strong. She's always having fun. Don't let go. What you could do is potentially have her back tied. So put her in a harness and back tie her to a tree, and then you've got more power to resist her and continue to have control of the item, right? But you could put a leash on the item, and then you're not physically the one getting blasted by her power. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, get down here. She's got Sundays off again in 2 weeks, so she's gonna come down. Okay, let me show you Archer. So
what he doesn't do is bite right away. He gets all weird.
And this,
never let him have it till he gets a good bite.
And this is a byproduct a lot of times of how the dog's been trained or engaged with in the past, combined with their personality.
Yes.
He's insecure. right? So you can see him shake, celebrate, prance, 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 and then he'll bring it and re-engage. He likes to do the engagement with you, so he will always show back up and bring it again. Shake, 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 that's fine. That's his little celebrate, and then he re-engages. Isn't that cool, you guys? So you can take a dog like this and you could put him around bombs going off, and he will be aware of them and nervous. But if you can get him to re-engage in the activity, you'll be building confidence. You'll be building more authentic confidence in the dog by doing this thing afterwards. So let me get a closer up. Hold him on the tug for a little bit longer than you have. She's gonna get him on here. I want you to see if he shakes a little bit for her. I doubt he really will do it.
That's the other thing, is you might be just agitating your dog too much.
Yeah, you might there. Little shake. So she's gonna keep it. Good grip. Now he can have it.
You always want to move away.
Move away. Make him come to you. Yeah, there's another really good key tip. Let's see, Alexis, they'll shake their heads here and there, but don't get obsessed with the toy over each other, and we'll just prance with whoever gets it and then bring it to the other dog. I think it's fine. I mean, you're lucky that you can do toys and stuff and not have issues between the dogs when they're in drive like that. We can't really do that here. We cannot. We would have, yeah, we would have issues with some of our dogs. He put his paw through one of the handles. So yeah, if your dog does a lot of this leaving and doesn't come back, keep him on leash. Yeah, growling is okay in many senses, Danica. There are circumstances where that would be something to deal with differently. Hudson is a good example of a dog that is not, you know, good at tugging. He's rude. And you'll get more growling, you'll get more sort of selfish stuff where he wants to take it and have it and own it and he won't release. Look at Archer go. I don't know if you can see that, but he's just flipping around. He loves to do it. We were just talking about the experience of, you know, testing him, doing some tug work, and then going back and doing that restaurant front kind of thing with him and seeing what he would do, if he would be better, if he would give us different stuff in that context. So we'll have to explore that and see. You took a lot of baby steps getting there. Always are engaging ourselves when they play like that. Thank you. Yeah, you bet. Duke loves tug. Yep, come to class. It's really cool what you can get from your dog as far as, you know, if you're dealing with reactivity issues out on the walk, if you're dealing with a dog who is fearful, insecure, nervous of other people, and then you become the source of everything they love in the context of drive fulfillment like this, then you can face hard things together and they will care more about what you have to say in the circumstance that is a higher stake, because you've done this together. You have more credibility, you have more relevance, right? More respect. It's amazing how it can tip the scales. So I'm really glad this was valuable for you guys, and we'll try to bring more of this type of content to you, but it is something that we are saving for our, you know, for our virtual community in order to raise funds for our rescue. And so if you have not signed up for recurring, you know, support for Hope2K9 and you're interested in that, we can drop the link in here as well. Anybody who's signing on for that is going to have access to the DNC, the Dog Nerd Cult.
Celebrated too hard,
super funny, fell right over. That's real. Thank you, Kai. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's a great way to get the dogs tired fast, though, and a quality outlet that is so good for your relationship. So, so, so good. Man, it's really nice out. Sorry for those of you that are not in SoCal to experience the Santa Anas and the gorgeous weather we're having right now. It is so nice and warm. Virtual community, is that on your website? Not yet. We're under construction for everything right now, but I'll drop the Give Lively link in here for you guys. And if you sign up on Give Lively for a committed recurring donation of $25 or more per month to support Hope2K9, then when that launches, you will automatically get access. It will be a bonus available to anyone already in our Give Lively program that is supporting our rescue month to month. So 25 bucks. 25 bucks, it's nothing. But for us, it's budgeting, right? It's something we can count on to take care of the dogs in our program, especially our money pits, Hudson and Cypress, who are not moving quickly, who needed, you know, extra health, medical care and things like that. When you set up for a recurring monthly donation, it allows our organization to go, we're gonna have $100 next month. We can afford to do that, right? And it allows us to have our trainer on staff who's giving virtual coaching and free Skype sessions and in-person training for people who can't afford to hire a dog trainer. It's allowing us to create and curate content like this for free that helps you guys. So that's what that program does, and anybody who is signed up for the Give Lively recurring donations during this time frame before we launch the Dog Nerd Cult can count on being added into it and getting access to it in the future. But right now we got a bunch of swag for Yo Dog Nerds also, and it's pretty dang fun. I sent out a mailer. If you're not on our mailing list, get yourself on the mailing list at Hope2K9.com, because I did send out a sneak peek and early access to you guys to be able to shop. If you want it, I ordered myself some stuff. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a ton of fun to have that be our swag campaign in the coming months. And Danica said, for a dog that is people bitey with strangers, is there a specific way to structure bite work, or should I wait until she's more reliable? No, just play with her. Play tug.
That's Archer.
Play tug. That's Archer. Archer's people bitey. So just play with her and teach her, you know, care about the nuance, right? Oh, we should pull him out and see. We'll give you guys a closing example of the 9-week-old Boo Bear. He's being really good, by the way. You don't get emails anymore, you better go check Hope2K9.com, sign up. Here comes the little baby with his ears inside out. Yay, Melissa, thank you. That's awesome. So no, just Danica, play with her, build that drive, make it, you know, balance out your work and training together with that dog by bringing play into the mix and making it fun for her, and then pay attention to the nuances. You know, does the dog out on command? Are you building that clarity? Spaslo, are you building that clarity that your commands and the manners expectations are non-negotiable? That's a big important ingredient as you develop training in that dog.
If you get her
I'll flip you.
enough, you can use it to meet new people.
Yes.
Right? Like Luna will totally bite a sleeve on anyone. She doesn't bite anything else.
You can hand it to anyone. Good job. Gotta do your business before you can play. Somebody needs to fix their hairdo.
I like it.
Somebody needs
I
to
wanted
fix
my ears cropped. They said they were gonna crop them.
No way, sir. He was a show prospect at first, and they said the show co-owned contract would include cropping, and I was a heck no for that. So, puppy pee. So yeah, flirt, 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 tug, tug, tug.
Also super important, a lot of people tug up. That's not great for your dog's neck. Right? So whatever size your dog is, meet them at their level.
Yeah.
You know,
Good point.
You can play around with more adult dogs like Archer, where you really pick them up for a second, but you don't want to constantly be playing.
You can
tug
even
like this
support.
with this puppy, right?
Yeah, you can even support under the chin. I do that with Zeus, so I'll lift and I'll actually hold under the chin and kind of support with Zeus. Get it. So this guy out front, there's a flirt pole out in front, and when I was literally on a live stream earlier this morning and he was not cooperating with his focus on the right things, I just grabbed that while I was talking to my online client group in the ELE, and had just run the flirt pole back and forth to get him to take care of being focused on something better. And he absolutely loves it. He'll go for a long time doing this stuff. So this will be a great way for us to fulfill him, to build relationship engagement, which isn't something we have a problem with. As I said, he's already obsessed with me, and just loves people in general. But you can start so early, so early. Here you can hear a little bit of his excitement and arousal around this activity. And he will do that. He's a real talker, by the way, guys, in all areas. He'll do that by himself. He'll play with a toy and talk about it like that. It's not a problem. Not something you need to correct. All right, gang. Well, I think we'll stop it here. Closing out with the little schmoopsy poo. This has been super fun. Selection, temperament testing, fulfillment, part 2. I think we nailed it. Knocked it out. We'll get you guys a link for Dog Nerd Cult goodies. For those of you that haven't got the emails, get on the mailing list. I've been getting busier and more back in the swing of things in sharing with you guys what's going on that way, and we definitely don't want you to miss anything important, okay? So take it easy. Have a great rest of your day, you guys. And definitely we can come back with more content like this. If this is valuable for you or it prompts another question that you'd like us to expand on, please feel free and let us know, okay? All right, guys. Thanks, Kai. Thanks, Kai. So awesome. See you later, Gators. Stephanie, get down here. We can't wait to see you and Mabel.